A note on the Survivalist, a film that advances a very bleak view of the future of humanity. Did I say humanity? That's wrong. In humanity, humanity becomes um, just a group of cannibals, it seems, because there is one scene when where there is a fire in the forest. There's a man. Don't worry, I will not say who. There's no spoiler alert, and I'm not getting into any details regarding what happens at the end, towards the end, and so on. But there's this man lying on the ground, going to die, and they have this fire next to him. And I was thinking, why is this big fire? And the answer I could come up with is that they will roast the guy. It's also true that it's easy to be ironical and say things like, "Oh, I'm so horrified. It's horrendous," and here and now, where I have no problem in going to the kitchen and eating something, some onion rings. It looks like tonight. But faced with extinction, faced with no having nothing to eat, it's a well-known story with those who leave the ship and sail on the oceans and they have nothing to eat and they eat each other. So that's one aspect. The survivalist is a young, tough guy. Grit. Psychology has demonstrated that grit is much more important than IQ. And this man is definitely gritty. True grit, like in the old Western and the more recent one by the Coen brothers with Jeff Bridges and so many others, Matt Damon, and it's also a question of EQ, emotional intelligence, which I understand is twice as important as EQ. No, I'm sorry. EQ is twice as important as IQ, emotional intelligence, and it makes sense. It seems it's useless if you have a wonderful brain and it can be creative, but then you don't talk with anybody. It will just die with you. Whatever work you're able to create, or if you don't communicate with anyone. And so the survivalist has this small plot, small garden, where he works hard. At one point, there's this woman who says, "You've been lucky." No, luck has nothing to do with it. In other words, he worked very hard to have food and just be there, standing, if you will. And at one point, he has these two women visitors, so to say. An older one, Catherine, and a younger one with a more complicated name. Major, anyway, and he's reluctant to have them around. He keeps his shotgun, his rifle at hand for such a long time, but he is attracted to the young woman, and finally the sexual impulse, the sexual urge gets the better of him, so to say, and in a sense, because otherwise as human beings, even in this post-apocalyptic world, Uh, her name is Milja. I have in fact no idea how he pronounced it because I saw the film late last night, at 3 a.m. or so, and because the rest of the house, these guys and others were sleeping, I didn't want to wake them up and start a row or something. So I watched the film on Cinemax and read the subtitles. I had no idea what. Well, I had the idea from the translation of what they were saying, but how they pronounce this Milja name, I don't know. Anyway, a good film. They have a tense triangle there. No question of intimate relations between the survivalist and the older woman, Catherine. But they do get intimate, Milja and the hero. And the result is for you to watch, to see if you watch the film, which is a good film.